Okay. Right, okay. Hello and welcome to another episode of Knights of Evening Star with me, your freshly shaven Dungeon Master, Mark Sherlock Humes. I am joined, as always, by my wonderful friends. Nate's trying to keep that laugh, trying to keep it in. I can see it. It's like the little crease, the little face,
if
the
you ask
dimples.
how I like my Dungeon Masters,
Freshly shaven.
freshly.
Smooth and sunburnt. That's how you get your Dungeon Master today. But yeah, I'm joined by these wonderful players, as you can see. We have Mika Burton, we have Jonathan Indovino, aka Shady Penguin, Nate Sharp, and Anna Prosser. Hello, welcome, dear friends. It's quite late, so you're going to get late night radio DJ, freshly shaven Dungeon Master as well. I'm trying not to wake people, so you're going to get the nice, smooth, dulcet tones of this radio DJ Dungeon Master. And yeah, we're here to play some Dungeons and Dragons, and I hope that you're excited about that, and I hope you players are excited about it too.
I feel like I'm driving into work. Like I'm back 10 years ago before I was doing YouTube, and I'm listening. Yeah, talk to me, please.
Yeah. Hey, coming up next we have NSYNC. Yeah.
Can I call in and win something?
Long time listener, first time caller.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like I'm compelled to call in and talk about my problems.
Yeah, well, that's Mr. what we're GM. Here for, and I'm just here to listen and play these great musics. Here's Earth, Wind, and Fire.
This is also like exactly what every classical music station sounds like over here, specifically a British guy talking.
They have a British guy like doing it, yeah.
Also, for late night on KEarth 101 in Los Angeles. That's exactly what it sounds like as well.
Yeah, for me, it's like for me that kind of voice and that memory conjures up late night driving back from like my dad picking me up from like somewhere like a trip or a convention, and we would listen to like the late night radio, which would always be like all the ballads and stuff like that on in like it's just like a very strong sort of like late night heart radio. Oh yeah. And it would play like all like the old Motown and like ballad songs. I don't know, very very bizarre memory, but there you go. Are we ready to play some Dungeons and Dragons, friends? Is everybody equipped? Is there anything anybody wants to talk about, anything cool on people's minds, or do we just want to roll some dice?
I'll roll some dice.
You want to roll some dice?
I'll roll dice right now.
My dice
would you roll?
Are in my
19.
Pretty good.
It's probably because you keep your dice in a collector's edition special numbered wormwood hex chest polyhedral spell circle dice vault from cantripbrand.com.
You get to do that at the end. You get to do that.
I'm just telling people what
you're
he's
getting
using.
The early retention viewers.
Wow.
I wasn't doing anything. What? It's just facts. That's Nathan Sharp. He has a collector's edition.
Does it happen to look like this?
Vault.
Yeah, it looks just like that.
Man,
it looks just like
that.
I have the very same one on my desk. Literally, it's not in a different room.
Not at all. No, that's
If it wasn't sweltering hot and very late at night, I would be in a wonderful bomber jacket that I wear everywhere. So but
wait,
it
Mark,
is
are you
things.
talking about
hold on. What?
bomber jacket right here?
My God,
wow,
you guys have the same
that's
one.
So
That's crazy.
How did that happen?
What are we doing?
Perfect. Well,
what are we doing?
What we're doing is we're going to play some Dungeons and Dragons, but I'm going to give you a little recap on what happened last week, and then I will hand it over to you. Last time on Knights of Evening Star, our noble heroes have come to the Temple of the Restful Lily, a magical day spa and hot spring for some rest and relaxation. And whilst the first night was just so, as they have stayed longer, the group have begun to realize that there is more to the temple and the three sisters who run it. After discovering and defeating a Medusa in the now ruined shrine to Suni, the party attempted to oust a water spirit from the main baths on behalf of the sisters. But following some choice words and actions, the water spirit has revealed that the three sisters are actually fact hags who tricked and cursed the original creator of the temple, or so the water spirit claims. With this new knowledge, the party must decide what they would like to do next. And I believe that that's pretty much where we wrap things up with you guys. I do believe you did come to a consensus of what you would like to do, but you are currently kind of half. Some of you waded into the hot spring pools, the Roman baths of the temple. Some of you on the outskirts with this water spirit, this Naiad, who is Naiad? Naiad? I don't know how to pronounce it. No, I thought it was Naiad.
Yeah.
Who is there? Cyrena is her name, and she's giving you this information. But you must now decide how to act upon it.
If I remember correctly, we were also told that Saith is literally Satan.
You were informed. Saith, she mentioned that the person who calls himself Saith is some sort of devil or fiend or something in disguise, and seemed to maybe perhaps not be as loyal to these hags as believed. Right. Was sort of heard muttering about something, but not quite sure what. And you know that these hags have put the curse, the Medusa's curse, on the original owners, Sylvari. They were the ones who created this curse for her, and that there have been others as well who have been subjected to like curses and all sorts of strange transformations as part of these hags' works. Also, and this is something which kind of went a little bit missed last week. You did originally come to the temple with your blade captain, Elissa, who is a half-orc knight of Evening Star. Haven't seen her since she left this morning.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Probably fine.
Fine.
Probably. It's probably okay.
Probably fine.
Nothing. Yeah.
Tarkle had also is aware that there is a kobold here who seems to be aware of what's going on. There are also various other NPCs here. You've met kind of some other guests who seem to be staying at the temple. There was a halfling mercenary for the Flaming Fist, Sanamin, who Clive seemed to get on quite well with. There is also a strange half-elf who was just being a bit creepy and mysterious, a gnomish inventor, and then there was also the masseuse, a dark elf called Ilmar, who is here as well. And then the oddly silent staff of this place, who probably on realization you realize have never said a word since you've been here.
What a thing that we just realized ourselves.
Probably fine.
Yeah.
Probably
Interesting.
fine.
Probably fine. Look, I'm not gonna. I was just, I knew that the penny's gonna drop at some point. I
appreciate it. I just think it's so funny when the DM's like, "Look, you haven't noticed this very obvious thing. I'm just going to point it out to you."
I'm going to point it out to you now that you know the secret of the hags, because up until then, the illusion was complete. You guys weren't aware of anything going on, but now you know that there's hags. It's you can probably be like, wait, it is kind of weird how none of the other staff ever spoke a single word. Huh? That's kind of strange.
Genuinely, I was like, oh, they're probably just like really well trained to keep to themselves.
Yeah.
Oops.
Maybe.
I guess after all these realizations, and now that Azara realizes her vacation is indeed over, she's gonna put her hands on her hips and go, well, if it seems that this literal devil that's pretending to be a quite wonderful, awesome, whatever, we should probably go get some information out of him. Maybe he can turn to our side, make this quicker, and the sooner we can get him on our side, the sooner we can get Sylvari back in power, and the sooner we can get more massages. And she kind of looks at Agnes like, I want more massages.
Yeah, and there's plenty of procedures we had planned, too, that, it'd be nice. Not, necessary, but just nice.
If any procedures were to happen, we don't want them from the hags who will turn us into Medusas or kobolds or non-speaking staff members.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. I suppose that wouldn't be smart, I suppose.
So then I guess the quickest way to remedy this is to go kill the hags, then.
First speak with Saith, because if he is indeed some sort of powerful fiend and has a grudge against them, the fiend wouldn't be so bad to have on our side. And speaking of our side, has anyone seen Elissa?
No, normally I find her with you.
Should we be worried?
A concern. Absolutely. I assume she was staying in a room with one of us, right? Or did she have her own?
She stayed in Azara's room.
Right.
After you got drunk, she slept in a chair.
Right.
After carrying drunk Azara back to her room.
Azara will kind of go a little bit red, and she'll be like, well, the last time I saw her, she was in my room in a chair, asleep, on the other side of the room, away from me. She was alone.
That's so interesting that you feel the need to share the location.
I just thought that
where you stood in the room.
She was asleep, and I thought that was important information, that I was not near her. Thus, I did not wake her up. It was very important. Thank you.
Whatever information you think is important.
I think it's very important. I feel like I don't know why you're pointing out this anyway.
Well, we should. I don't have any spells or anything I could use to locate her. Do you?
I do not. I know that Saith possibly is evil, but he doesn't know that we know that he's evil, so he should still be helpful if we ask.
I suppose that just asking someone as opposed to using magic is an option.
But if he doesn't comply, then we have magic.
Okay. Well, if we are believing everything this water spirit has told us, then if he doesn't comply, then we should probably kill him too and be on with it.
I happen to agree, yes.
Okay. Should we just lure him out by the ruins or something? Maybe he can show us over there, and then we can ask him, hey, do you like these hags? Or can we dead them?
And possibly if we have someone like Clive and Agnes lying in wait, if he does turn on us, we can have the advantage in combat.
I feel like we kind of glossed over the working with a fiend piece. I feel like we went through that real fast.
Well, I figured hags are worse than fiends. 3 hags are worse than 1 fiend.
It is like rock, paper, scissors, yes.
And
fiend beats hags. Hags beat fiend. Fiend beats players beat hags.
Right, exactly. Hags beat fiends. And truly, if he has any semblance of a moral turnover, then he should be fine.
I do think we should talk to him first, because worst case scenario, it's still 4v4. 3 hags and 1 fiend versus the 4 of us. And Kander.
And hopefully Alyssa, if we find her.
Oh, yeah, of course. Maybe Saith knows where she is.
Let's go talk to Saith.
Yeah.
You guys leave the bathhouse. Clive, unless there's anything Clive wants to add, I want to make sure that Clive feels he has a moment.
Along for the raid.
Okay. You guys leave the bathhouse, kind of dripping wet. You make your way back through the changing rooms, which lead into the bathhouse, and into the foyer of the Temple of the Restful Lily, where Saith does appear to be just doing some paperwork at the desk. He turns when he hears you guys approaching, looks around. He's just like, our dear adventurers. How is the water spirit gone? Did you destroy them? Did you defeat them?
It seems that we will need ample more time to take care of the situation, so we've just barred off the area for now, off limits. Do not interact. We'll take care of it. But for now,
Deception check, please. As it is a deception that you have placed.
A deception.
A deception.
You have made a deception, and it must be rolled for
17. Good sir.
17? Okay, sure. So
it is a good deception.
Deception. But for now, in my magical arcana history, I've learned that there's a poultice I can create to rid places of water spirits, and I thought that you could take us on a journey to see the various flowers out towards the field. Would you mind? I know that you have great knowledge of this area.
Oh, I do indeed. I'm afraid that my knowledge of flowers and herbs, I'm something more of a clerk, really. Numbers, people, getting things done. I'm not really much of a botanist. Of course, if you're looking for company to tour the grounds, I'd be more than happy to oblige, my dear. He smiles.
Oh, company is even better than knowledge. Isn't that right, everyone? She just kind of.
Oh, I see.
Space.
It's a walk with everyone, not just yourself.
No, we
I thought.
we find it best to travel as a team. It builds
Oh,
camaraderie.
Speaking of
indeed.
which, have you seen our blade captain, Alyssa, anywhere?
The half-orc woman who checked in with you, I believe, well, I believe that she had an appointment with the owners, with the sisters.
Do you know what time her appointment was?
Oh, well, it's really to the schedule of the sisters themselves. I know that they were coming over to meet with you and to discuss various matters, and I imagine that Lady Morgana has probably fetched her whilst you were busy with the water spirits, I imagine.
Mm. Well, we wouldn't want to interrupt that, and I kind
No,
of
of
give
course.
a little look to the aside to Azara, like we would want to interrupt that.
Yeah. Zara's like, well, then that just hastens our need to get rid of this water spirit and meet up with our good friend later. So shall we to the gardens? She kind of like,
Yes, of course. Just one moment, and he very purposefully takes off a brooch that he's been wearing, and he places it on the desk inside a drawer. And then he's just like, "Yes, please, of course. Allow me to take you. I wouldn't want to." And he goes, maybe. In fact, actually, he wouldn't just take it off. He changes puts on a cloak. So he takes off the pin, and then puts on a cloak, and then seems to almost forget about the brooch. Like he puts it down, puts on the cloak, and then he motions to the door. And he's just like, yes, please. Well, allow me to take you on your way.
Can I perceive the brooch?
It appears to be a cat's eye gemstone, so a kind of amber, crystalline gemstone embedded into a lovely piece of jewelry. It just appears to be a lovely looking brooch. Is there anything you would like to know about it? If you would like to ask a question, you have a high passive perception. Is there anything? Is there a detail you would like to know? Or
Yeah, I want to know like why he would take it off to go outside. Is it magical? Is it some sort of ward? You know,
you wouldn't be able to tell if it's magical. Straight up perception, unfortunately, you wouldn't be able to tell if it's magical. There's no glow to it. There's no obvious etchings or runes or symbols on it. It's odd. It's certainly very odd that he would take this brooch off. You remember that he's worn it, when you arrived. He always seems to be wearing it. Yeah, it's kind of odd that he would take it off. But there's nothing, you can't see anything unusual with it.
what a lovely brooch. Is it so valuable you don't like to take it out on walks? Is it
Precisely
dangerous?
that, my dear. It's very precious. I wouldn't want to lose it. Anyway, and he at that, Agnes, you would sense that he's like, we need to like stop talking about it. We need to leave now.
That's none of my business.
Thanks, Kermit.
At that, I guess Azara would just start like leading out the door then.
Yeah. Seth leads you off to the side. Oh, not towards the tower. He kind of leads you off more towards the woods. Agnes, with the high perception again, very cautiously keeps checking behind him. Like, keeps looking behind him, looking towards the temple, looking towards the tower. And then when you reach a certain distance, he's like, he's talking nonsense, like, the lovely time of year, just making small talk as he goes. And then when he gets to a certain point, he whips around lightning fast, and you see his demeanor completely changes. He becomes a lot more serious and sinister. I take it then that you spoke with our little friend in the bathhouse. You have a few new ideas about the temple, I think. Unfortunately, you're not as skilled at lying, Miss Azara. And he just looks at Azara.
I thought a 17 was high enough. With you then, my dude.
Not to this guy.
Azara's kind of taken aback by that, but she quickly recovers and she's like, Who said that I was trying to deceive you? It seems that my
Oh.
plan to get you out here worked.
It's painfully obvious that you had not killed the creature. You were obfuscating, which to me implies I know exactly what resides there. I know what it knows. I know the same thing. But the fact that you came to speak with me, the fact that you didn't come out with blades drawn and spells smoldering, implies that you're willing to talk. And I do like to talk. He just kind of smiles. In fact, I think we could be of great use to one another. Now, if you are aware of certain factors.
So what do you want that we could be of use to you?
Well, I assume. Forgive me. Please do stop me if I say anything out of turn. You are aware of who the sisters are now, yes?
Yes,
He looks
that's
at all
right.
of you. Their treatments, very strange. I've never seen a magic like it. Of course, I've never seen the rituals myself. They keep it incredibly secret, guarded almost. They feed me tidbits here and there, goose chases and wild theories to keep me working for them. But do you honestly think that I would work for those creatures for nothing? I want to know how they're doing what they're doing. And in doing so, that would mean learning how to undo what they're doing.
And how do you suggest we find this out? Because we were just going to kill them and be on with it.
You see, that's short-sighted. If you kill them, you won't learn how to undo whatever that is that they have done. But also, they are not to be trifled with. I have no doubt that you are very accomplished warriors and wizards and the like, but these are not some ordinary garden hag. This isn't some frightful figure that people tell stories about. These three have lived in the Feywild for a long time, and they've been preying on mortals long before this temple was here. They are not to be trifled with. They are dangerous opponents. Surely you want to have every advantage you can muster. I can help you with that. We just need to help each other.
So you want information to help us, and then we can rid this land of them. But then where will you go?
I'll disappear. I'll go back to the Nine Hells, or go off to some city like Waterdeep and find some individuals to mess around with, or something like that. You'll never see me again.
But
I know my limits.
How are we supposed to figure out what they're doing without sacrificing some poor innocent soul to become a kobold or the Medusa?
Well, there's a few things. First of all, I know that they despise each other. They keep sections of this ritual, whatever it is they're doing. Each of them has a part of it, and they're terribly afraid of others learning their part, because then they don't need each other anymore. They can just operate as individuals. There may be a way that perhaps we can trick them. I know that Morgana certainly has a weakness for your sorts, and he points at Azara and Tarkle, dark and brooding and intimidating for certain. As Rissa respects strength, she's a bit more dim than the others, but she's strong, powerful. The other one is Greenbones. Sorry, the wood elf, as you know her. She's cunning and wise, but she hates the other two most of all. Sees them as petulant children. She's the eldest of the three. There may be a way that we can turn them against each other, perhaps. Or perhaps you can sneak around in their tower, or sneak around, find out how they're keeping these things secret. I've been trying, but they don't trust me as much as they might trust those they think are lesser. Of course, you could just try fighting and killing them, I suppose, but I'm not.
That sounds like a good plan.
You may certainly try.
Well, you said turn them against each other. How do you think we would do that?
I don't know. That's for you to figure out.
Perhaps if we can spy on a ritual and make it appear as if one of the sisters taught us one of the other sisters' parts.
Ho ho. Now
And
this one, I like him. And he
if-
points at
if we exploit their weaknesses, if Clive challenges the strong one to a duel, or if Azar kind of like looks at Tarkal and she's like, or if I try and seduce Morgana, or if Agnes tries to win over the wood elf with the powers of nature, or a cunning conversation, then
Perhaps
if
a
we
cunning
have
conversation, yes.
all three pieces, then we can just have them kill each other.
They would certainly turn on each other, and if they're distracted with each other, they're not looking at you. The main thing will be to learn how to undo the curse. Now, I can give you, to complete my part in our little bargain, I have key to their tower that can get you access. Certainly, at least into the lower levels. The upper levels, they keep for themselves. They won't trust me with the key to there. But I can certainly get you into the lower levels where they conduct this ritual. You could go have a little poke around, see what you can find. The other one is perhaps just follow one of them, keep an eye on them, see what you can discover.
Azar kind of looks at Tarkal and is like, well, you're good at sneaking around.
Yes, I could definitely follow one of them. I guess once we're inside the tower. Is there any other access point besides using this key?
Unfortunately not. They're quite, they're paranoid, of course. They ward the windows. They're sealed, locked, but they also ward them with magic, explosive, runes and traps, that sort of thing. You want to be careful trying to break in anywhere. The door they keep unlocked. The lower levels, they have kept up the appearance of the temple. It's where they take clients to perform these transformations. I suspect your little half-orc friend is in there right now. She was very desperate to be glamorous. Still, perhaps you may be able to even spy in on what they're doing. But the upper levels, they keep to themselves. That's quite guarded. I would be cautious around any statues that you find. Not all of them are quite what they appear.
Well, this seems like we have our work cut out for us.
Quite a little arrangement. It's exciting. If you want another ally, the Dark Elf has been snooping around quite considerably as well. They may be willing to help you. I suspect that they're looking for someone or something that the hags have done something to. I've been told to keep an eye on them. The idea was to potentially frame them for a crime or a murder if anybody came too close to discovering the truth. You may be able to use that to your advantage.
We just wanted a day off. That's all we wanted. We just wanted a day off. All right.
You can enjoy the facilities. As far as they're concerned, the sisters, I could perhaps help convince them that this water sprite simply needs more time to be dealt with. You could enjoy the facilities for a little longer. They are still what they are.
No, it's irresponsible of us to let this go on.
But
Would
you
it
do
be
need to
possible?
let your hair down a little, don't you?
Would it be possible
Responsibilities.
to separate the sisters before our friend is tampered
Oh,
with?
yes. I mean, before your friend, unlikely. If she's having the transformation, if she's having her ritual done now, they'll be all together. Afterwards, however, they can't stand each other. They barely spend any time together. Outside of sleeping and performing the rituals, they almost never spend time together. They despise one another. They hate one another.
I want to like look at my group and see how do they feel about dealings with this cunning individual. That's what I want. I want to vibe check. I want a vibe check.
Sure.
Roll for vibe.
Can I roll for vibe to like look at?
You can make an insight check.
Sure. And then maybe my player friends, comrades can tell me, oh, I rolled a 17. That's a dirty 20.
Oh,
Okay. Well, I'll leave it to the players then. Like, you guys can decide. If you want to try and hide your feelings, then obviously deception check. But if you're just like openly wearing your thoughts and opinions, just say what's going down.
Agnes is like uncharacteristically withdrawn and like very present, but not offering a whole lot, and seems kind of like part of her is lost in her own thoughts.
Okay.
Azara is pretty much taking this dude for face value. Like a fiend undercover at a spa doesn't really faze her. But the thought of being able to save Alyssa and return the spa back to what it could have been intrigues her enough to like want to go through with this plan.
The other thing I will say to Azara, now that he's kind of revealed the face, he hasn't shown like he's not changed his appearance. He still looks like this kind of guy.
Right.
The way that he's speaking, and if he is a fiend, you don't get the impression that this guy's probably a devil, which means that he's probably going to he'll be tricksy with his word. But if he says he'll do something, he'll probably do it. Like devils tend to be, they'll stick to things that they say and agreements that they make, but they will try and twist them to their own ends. So he's not chaotic. He's unlikely to be like, I'm going to kill you now. Ha 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 ha.
He wants something selfish out of this endeavor, but he's not going to slit our throats over it.
No, he's willing to work with you as long as he's going to get what he wants.
Right.
So,
yeah. So knowing that, Azara's like, fine, Mr. Devil Man. What do you want?
You seem pretty chill working with him because you can understand it. Yeah. What about Clive?
Clive just like picked something out of his ear and is like,
oh my God!
That's new.
And, I think then that is enough of a vibe check for Tarkle to not overreact because he wants to. Tarkle is, if anyone were to notice, Tarkle is definitely, he's itchy. He's very, very itchy. Like trigger finger. Go. Yeah. I don't. Basically, as soon as he said, "I'll find some people to torment in Waterdeep," that was enough for Tarkle to be like, "Is it? Am I really gonna work with this devil?" But it's. I think vibe of the team is we just do this and we figure it out later. So
can I roll a sleight of hand check?
Yeah.
To wipe whatever this is I found on my pinky on Azara's head to see if she notices. It's like,
sure. You can make a sleight of hand, and Azara can make a perception check.
So gross.
Well, in fact, actually, it would be Azara's passive perception. So what's Azara's passive perception?
15.
15. So as long as you get a 16 or more, she doesn't notice.
That's a 5.
You feel like this big furry hand like brushing your hair. Now you don't know what he's done, but you feel just like him like touch the back of your head.
Azara could be like, what? Do I feel?
Yeah, you feel like something like sticky, like ugh.
I assume it was probably like a bug.
Okay. But it's like a smushed bug now, where he's like picked it out and like wiped it on you. So it's like a little bit of dried bug
Azara
blood.
Just kind of like,
I don't know who did that. Somebody's putting bugs in places.
She'll just like count to 3 in her head, and she'll turn back to Sayeth and be like, and then she'll turn to her group and she'll go, so what should we do? Where should we start?
I think we should check on Alyssa.
Agreed. And if it's too late to stop this ritual, we play it by ear.
I would make sure that you do so stealthily. If all 3 hags are there, they are the most powerful when they are together, the hags. They are a coven, which gives them access to very powerful magic.
Understood.
And after that, we split them up, do what we can, play to our strengths, and meet back later.
Well, we need the key. So.
Certainly. You see he pulls out like a ring of keys. Seems like there's one for like every room in the temple. He like plucks it off, hands you a single key. Tarkle, specifically, and he looks dead in your eyes when he does it, Tarkle, like, here we are.
Pushing, bro. Oh, yeah, Tarkle just takes it. He's going to be good or be bad. I don't know anymore.
I mean, yeah, this guy's like looking directly at Tarkle when he gives that key, and he just smiles. I look forward to working with you all. If there's any way that I can help, do let me know. Not just in this endeavor, perhaps in the future, if you ever need a little help. I love working with mortals.
Azar just kind of sighs and like shoos him off a little, like, okay, devil, like we get it. You're evil.
Oh, my apologies. And he just like does a mocking bow and he's like, forgive me, of course. I seem to have overstayed my welcome. Ah, well, back to tending the gardens then. And he goes off.
After he leaves, Azara kind of takes a deep breath and is like, I apologize. Working with fiends and devils, they're always like
Can
that.
we kill that one too?
Unless he tries to kill us first, it's unwise. They're usually, I wouldn't say harmless. They keep to themselves. He's not going to turn on us. We can trust him to an extent. The mischief he'll get up to will be in another land, nothing to do with us. We'll be far away from Cormyr. Best to just not get on his bad side. We're on his good side, which doesn't feel good, but it is what it is.
I feel a sense of urgency to check on Alyssa, knowing that the people who she's trusting to do some sort of procedure on her are hags.
I wholeheartedly agree.
I think
So
we
let's
should
go straight to the tower.
Yeah, quietly.
I have passed without trace, so
Ooh.
definitely able to do some reconnaissance.
Pop
Sure.
that on all of us.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you like cast that on everyone, Agnes?
Oh yeah, it's you and your companions within
Yeah.
30 feet of me.
It's plus 10 stealth to everybody, and you don't leave any physical tracks like footsteps
Sneaky,
or
sneaky.
footprints.
How long
or,
does that
like,
last?
hour, I
An
think?
hour.
Oh, awesome. Okay, cool.
Real
Yeah,
good.
we're Scooby-Doo sneaking.
Let's be sneaky.
Yeah, and you still have advantage on stealth as well, Tarkle, because of the massage. It lasts for another few hours. Not long, not much longer. It's like you've got like maybe like 8 hours of it. But
Okay.
yeah, you guys can make your way to the tower. You have to kind of either go all the way outside and around the temple, or you can go through the lounge and through the massage rooms, and then you can go out the back door, which is where you've been going the last couple of times. But if you wanted to try and avoid anybody, the best way would be to like literally go around through the woods and go around the building, basically.
Probably
Guessing
sounds good.
Through is faster though. Like what's the
Through
time
would be
difference?
faster. Yeah, it would take you much longer. It will, take you nearly like 3-4 times as long to go around than just going straight through. But obviously, the pass without a trace doesn't make you invisible. It means that you don't leave like footprints. It means that you don't make as much noise, but people will still see you and everything else.
When we say 3 to 4 times faster, is it like 1 minute versus 4 minutes, or is it like 10 minutes versus 40 minutes?
I would say it's like 10 minutes versus 40 minutes because, if even just rushing through the temple itself, I'd say maybe, no, it wouldn't be as long as that actually, like 5 minutes versus like 20 minutes. But it's just that like you might be stopped by people that might like try and talk to you, or like, who knows what you might encounter along the way. Like people might ask where you're going, or, stuff like that as well. But yeah.
I think I just follow Agnes, basically, since she was the one that kind of said, I feel a sense of urgency to go.
Yeah.
Whichever way she decides.
I'll follow Agnes.
All right, Agnes, your call.
Yeah, and I think we go the fastest way, and I brief everyone on like how to walk in the most unnoticeable way possible. Like, yeah, people will see us, but when you're like in high school and you don't have a hall pass, but you walk in a way that like no one notices you and it seems like you have somewhere important to go.
And the pass without a trace will definitely help with that, because it means that you won't make any like noise, and like it kind of just helps you kind of like blend into the background a little bit. Not like invisibility or camouflage, but just make no noise, and people are just kind of absorbed in their own business, right? So so what we're going to do is I'm going to have you all roll stealth checks with a plus 10 bonus. And I'm going to roll a little, see if we get like a little random encounter or something.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be Oh,
The plus
I
10
rolled a
bonus is so
38.
nice.
Oh.
38?
Yep.
Rogue expertise.
Yep.
Pass without a trace.
I got 27.
Yep.
25.
25. Clive.
dirty 20.
Yeah, it's Cool. So as a group check, more than half of you succeeded. So you pass through the lounge without any real notice. When you emerge outside, there's a few trees and things like that to kind of gain cover with. But looking at the tower, it's only a short little path to the tower. There's the windows. You can see there's like a kind of, as it curves around the circular tower, there are windows, but they've got curtains. Like on the inside, curtains have been drawn, blocking you from seeing in. Around the door, as I mentioned, are these two elven statues that are almost posed like an archway around the door with wings. They will have very clear line of sight to you if you approach the door. So if what Seth said was true, and these statues are maybe either creatures or traps or alarms, they'll notice you approaching. So do you guys want to do anything different, or is this just like, nope, we're worried about Alyssa, we're just going to go straight through the door, unlock it, and try and figure out what's going on?
Are
How do you
there
wanna play
windows on this tower?
There's the tower is 3 floors. There are windows on all 3 ones. The 2 windows up above seem to be sealed from the inside. They have like wooden shutters, heavy curtains, that sort of thing. The lower level windows, there's 2 of them. They both have heavy curtains on the inside, drawn.
Do the windows look like they open? Like
From the inside, yes, but not from the outside.
okay.
Ooh,
Go ahead.
seeing the statues.
Mhm.
Is there a way to make fog cloud look kind of like a natural fog rolling in?
Nice.
I'd say so. Especially because you have the baths nearby, and there's all
Right.
this steam coming out of the baths,
Mhm.
and it's kind of open aired. So like, there's there is like mist. You could probably make it look like the fog is rising from the ground, and it would maybe be a little bit suspicious. But if the creature wasn't, if there was a creature that wasn't particularly smart, or if they
Right.
didn't understand magic, they would probably just think it's a natural mist. I'd say that any sort of intelligent creature, I'll make a check to see if they are like, that's weird.
Taking the risk, thinking that they might be like gargoyles or some stupid stone creature. Azara will create like a 20-foot, like right in front of the
door.
door and the statues, but so we can still see, and kind of make this fog cloud appear around their faces so they can't see us.
Okay, sure. I'll kind of like map out. I've got like a little map for my own benefit here. Sure. Okay. So there's this rolling mist seems to rise up from the ground, and it's thick, pea soup like fog that just kind of spreads around the front of the tower, in amongst the trees and the foliage and stuff like that. It just kind of rises up like a swamp mist. You wait a few moments. There's no like alarm. There's no calls of monster. That you don't hear any noises or anything like that. Nothing seems to have changed.
Is this fog thick enough to cover us?
Yeah.
If we approach the door.
It's like you can't see more than 5 feet into it, and it's sort of like 20-foot thick.
Sweet.
Spreading around, so it's easily enough to either move through, or move around if you wanted to.
Let's move through the fog with our enhanced
door.
stealth to the door. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. You guys make it to the door. The statues are there, but the fog is so thick that they can't see the actual doorway. They're kind of shaped around it. So you can make your way right next to the door. It is like a kind of plain wooden door with like golden spirals painted onto it. A very heavy looking lock, however.
And it is locked.
If you try it, if you like touch the door, yes, it is locked.
We have the
Okay.
keys though, right?
I'm gonna attempt to put the key in, and I'm gonna slowly turn it. And if I hear any noise, I'm gonna stop turning.
Okay. You don't hear any noise. You turn, click. And the door just gently becomes untugged, and you can open it.
Okay, so same thing. I'm gonna start pushing the door open, but if it starts making any noise, I'm gonna stop.
Yep. Doesn't make any noise.
Cool. All right.
Okay. Are you going to step inside?
Yeah, I think right. I'm gonna look back since I opened the door with the key, and I'm gonna go, and then I'm gonna walk in stealthily.
Sure.
We're
all right,
all
Tarkle.
specifically looking at Clive and going,
Cool. Are the rest of you letting Tarkle go in first, or are you immediately following Tarkle like you're all going in together? Or are you going to let Tarkle kind of go in and scout around a bit?
I was figuring we were following.
Okay, sure.
I was
You
going
all
to follow like a
four-
little bit behind because he's the sneakiest.
Okay. All right. So it's like we've got Clive and Azara maybe a bit back, but Agnes and Tarkle are moving in.
Yeah.
The door leads into a foyer. There is a central spiral staircase that leads up, and the staircase is flanked by 2 closed doors, each set within the middle of a stone wall. Near the staircase, you see a terribly frail looking female dragonborn, gold-hued. She is barely able to hold the broom that she's carrying and is desperately trying to sweep up dirt, but you can see that this is exhausting and painful. Her form is just so withered, and her clothing is like, hanging off of her from this very thin frame. She doesn't hear you enter with the fog cloud and the stealth, completely unaware that you've entered. You can hear coming from, if you've got 2 doors, the left-hand door. So you have like a spiral staircase in the middle, and then 2 doors, a left and a right door. From the left door, you can hear the sounds of the sisters speaking. It's muffled, but you can make out things just like, yes, dear, just hold still just a bit longer. Almost like instructions of like something, as if they're talking to someone.
Azara, while they're still stealthy, is going to take the opportunity to message all 3 of them, like the cantrip message, and say the same thing, which is, if we cause a distraction and hide, we may be able to sneak Alyssa out.
I was thinking the same. We can message back, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I was thinking the same. Maybe have Clive knock on the door under the guise of us having sent him to look for Alyssa, and maybe as he's keeping their attention inside the room, we could sneak inside as well.
I will message that to Clive.
Clive will be like, how are you talking like that? How do I talk like that? Oh, this is trippy. What are we doing?
I will re-message the same thing.
Right. Okay. Off I go then.
Okay. So Clive, you're just going to step in, go up to this door and knock?
Just
Okay, as soon as you knock, the Dragonborn who's been sweeping by the stairs looks over completely stunned, like had no idea that you were there, sees you knocking, and you just see this Dragonborn look in abject horror. Like absolute fear grips her, and she desperately tries to go up the stairs, like in a panicked flee. She's just like, and just is like climbing up the stairs. The talking behind the door stops dead as soon as they hear the knocking, and you just hear a very muffled sort of like, I'm so sorry, my dear. This is unusual. We shouldn't have any interruptions. Alyssa, go and see who that is. The door opens, and you see the sun elf woman with these kind of like beautiful copper ringlet hair, big kind of tall frame with this big sort of furred mantle, is looming in the doorway. And even Clive, I think, would notice that when she opens the door, all of that friendliness, all of that welcomingness of the other sisters is gone. And it is abject hate. Like, this person is pissed that you have knocked on this door. She opens it and just looks directly at you. What on earth are you doing here?
Can I see this?
Yeah, like
Okay.
the rest of you are currently stood in the foyer, right? Like you guys
we're
were
hiding.
like literally.
We're supposed to be like hiding in the shadows and
Yeah,
trying to
we
make Clive
hid.
the.
Okay, sure, all right. Well, have you guys like either pressed up against the wall or like maybe up in the spiral stairway, like you kind of pressed yourselves out?
I probably would have gone under the spiral staircase.
Yeah, sure. Like you guys are all kind of like hidden as best you can be in that thing.
Yeah,
So it's just.
And the
quiet
idea
there.
is that Clive makes like a disturbance ruckus, and then
let's see what Clive does.
Yeah.
I've been told that there's something in here that's needing an inspection. If you wouldn't mind, I'll just like walk past.
He was supposed to
You
go
go
in
to
and try
walk
to find
past.
Alyssa.
Make a strength check.
Okay. I was given very vague instructions. I was just told distraction, ruckus. I'm like,
Sure.
all right, off I go. Strength.
Yeah.
Cool.
Like you're gonna push past her because she's stood in the doorway and she ain't moving. So if you want to push past, you are barred. You are shoulder past. Pushing this person out of the way.
21.
21. You come to a standstill with her. Like she doesn't beat you and you don't beat her, so you press against each other and she's like pushing you back and you're pushing her. She takes a step, but then you're not making any ground. Like it's a status quo. You both get the same 21. She locks eyes. You do get a glimpse inside the room, Clive.
Mhm.
What you see inside is a quite a like empty room, except that it basically has these heavy, thick silk curtains all the way round. In the middle of the room is a very ornate, pretty-looking, comfortable chair, which Alyssa is sat in. Meanwhile, next to her is the two other elven sisters, Morgana and Greensong, who seem to be painting a canvas, and they are painting this beautiful epitomized version of Alyssa, where she looks like this glamorous noble woman with long straight hair, her complexion, her cheek, like she looks almost like a vision of Alyssa, like something that like an Azara Alyssa kind of thing. Like she looks like this, rather than the rough kind of knight that she is, she looks like this fairy tale, knight, warrior princess kind of vibe. In a resplendent dress and armor, kind of lifting a sword, looking like nobility. And you can begin to see that Alyssa's face has changed. Like it's physically becoming like the painting. Her hair is straightening. Her tusks have become completely gone. She is beginning to become like the painting. But this is the point where the Sun Elf Ezrissa stops you dead, looks you in the eyes, and I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Good. 14.
14. She looks at you, her eyes glow gold, and you are dominated. So you are completely under her control. And she just
All right,
says,
what are we doing then?
but she says, in your mind, you just lose the ability. She just takes complete control of your body. You go silent, and then you shut the door and step into the room with them. And the rest of the party, you don't know what happens. Clive, the first thing is that they basically say, why are you here? How did you get in? You tell them perfectly honestly. You say that you went and found the water spirit, and then you went and spoke to Saeth, and you got the key.
Yep.
And then they basically
I was
say
a distraction.
you were a distraction. Yep. You tell them all of that, and they look at each other in sort of horror.
Okay,
Alyssa kind of stands up.
On that note, though, I do want to ask,
Yes.
would how little detail Clive actually knows about what the hell's going on?
It does disguise some of it. Yes, I would say that
Okay.
because Clive doesn't pay attention, some things get left out. And you basically tell it from Clive's perspective of like, I was meant to be some sort of distraction. Apparently you're evil and we have to fight you or something. I don't really know what's going on. It's from Clive's kind of perspective, right? You don't get to make another saving throw
Cool.
until they damage you or until a minute ends. But what you do notice, because you're kind of aware of everything, but you just don't have any control over your body. Like your body's just acting against your own will. Before we jump to the others, the other thing is Alyssa says, "What are you doing, Clive? Like, what are you doing to him?" And the others are like, no, stay still, dear. We're not finished. And she's like, "No, I don't want this anymore." And as soon as she says that, the hags just smile, and one of them begins to cackle. And you watch as Alyssa, this beautiful noble woman that she's becoming, almost begins to reverse, and her skin becomes dry and cracked and sallowed. Her hair begins turning gray and frizzed, and she begins like getting a hunchback. Like you can see, like she begins twisting into this kind of almost reverse manifestation. The painting stays the same, but Alyssa's form, and she's just like, what is happening to me? And they're just like, "We did tell you, dear, if you rescind our gift, it's time to collect payment." And you can see like it begins siphoning this energy off. So meanwhile, the three of you watch Clive walk into the room and shut the door.
full panic mode. Yeah, I'd look to Agnes.
We weren't aware that he got dominated, right?
Nope.
Well, maybe it's all part of the distraction plan.
Well, how
Could
do we
you
get in now?
message
The
him,
door's not
Azara?
open.
I'm going to detect magic.
From where you are,
How far away is the door?
it's like 10, 15 feet.
Okay, yeah, from where I am, because it's 30 feet everywhere.
Mhm.
Sorry if I hit that.
Can't go
microphone.
through walls though.
Can't
detect
go
magic.
through walls.
I believe it's blocked.
Oh, visible. No, it can penetrate most barriers.
Okay.
1 foot of stone. It's not a foot of stone.
No, okay, no, I'd say it's
Yeah.
not a foot of stone. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So we'll come to that. There's one quick thing, and then I'm going to jump straight back to you. Agnes, you're kind of in the stairwell, like at the top of the stairwell. That dragonborn that had fled up, you can see them at the top of the stairs, just like holding their head, like, no, you don't know what you've done. You don't know what you've done. Like they're freaking out up, like just above you.
I'll go sit like gently in front of them and say,
I shouldn't be talking to you. No, you need to leave. You need to leave right now.
Why?
Because you're not supposed to see what they do. You're not supposed to see what this place is. They're going to punish us. And then they're probably going to try and kill you. You need to leave.
Don't worry, we can protect you. Just tell me what you know.
You don't understand. You can't protect us from them. They've already done this. And she points to a withered form. They've got magic you don't understand. Azara, as that conversation is happening, your eyes light up and you see a number of things. First of all, you see an outline of Clive.
Mhm.
He's completely under an enchantment spell. Like this enchantment spell covers Clive.
Mhm.
The blinding thing that you see in the other room is the outline of a canvas. And you see a form. You don't recognize it. It's like hunched and kind of shrunken and again, completely covered it in a mixture of spells, enchantment, transmutation, illusion, completely covering that figure. And then you see 3 figures all under an illusion spell. But this canvas is bright. It is powerful magic beyond just a normal spell. This is like something bizarre is happening with this square, this thing that you can see, this outline of a painting.
So in Azara's arcane knowledge, she would assume like, that's the catalyst. If it's in the room and it's terrifyingly magical, that's probably what's going on.
It's probably something that, this is probably how they're doing these transformations for sure.
I think Azara would quickly message that to Agnes and Tarkle about the enchantment, about the canvas, blinding magic, about the fact that the hags are illusioned, and about the fact that the other figure, who was probably Alyssa, looks unrecognizable. And then also reminding them that the Naiad said that her waters are sacred and the sisters won't go there. So to seek refuge while we figure out what to do.
Well, I'm going to throw this over to my man Tarkle just to make sure that he's got a chance to do anything he wants to do. And then we'll jump back a little bit.
Tarkle would just respond to the message. So should we destroy the painting? Should we go in there? Clive is under an enchantment. Is he safe? Should we bust the door down?
We cannot take them on. We cannot take them on without Clive. We cannot take them on as ourselves. Saith told us as such. And we need to collect ourselves and figure out what we're dealing with. The Naiad's waters may grant us moments respite to at least gather ourselves.
Oh, I can't respond again. Oh, wait,
Yeah,
hold
you
on.
can.
You can. That's another message.
Yeah.
Well, that's another message. I'm going to just jump back in because I want to make sure everyone's stuff is happening. Clive, after you basically do the spill all from Clive's perspective, in the domination, they basically make you go and stand in a corner. Yeah, and they fetch manacles. They have like manacles in a chest. They take these manacles out and they start manacling your like hands. You're under this domination spell. You're just like, yep, sure. And then they basically tell you to lie on the ground, and you just like lie face down, hands behind your back, kind of thing.
Don't want to be a problem. Just gonna lay right down here.
Excellent.
Down
Yes,
here.
good.
There we are. Nice and comfy. It's nice.
And because they're counting the seconds before this spell ends, while they have you under their power. but right, I'm trying to think of everything I've got, like everything going on here. Agnes, you're talking to the Dragonborn. You're getting these messages from Azara as well, but you can see this Dragonborn is like looking behind them, looking around, terrified. Yeah, I don't think that they necessarily like your promises of safety don't seem to really. They definitely don't seem to feel very safe, from those promises.
I got Azara's message, and she was telling us to like retreat to find
Yes,
safety at the water.
the waters.
Right?
Yeah.
So I will take that advice, and I'll grab the Dragonborn's hand and say, I have a safe place if you come with us now, and try to persuade them to come with me.
Sure, you can make a persuasion check. Yeah.
I roll 18.
18. Okay. They kind of look at you, and you can see that there's like a sparkle of something in their eye, like a memory is triggered or something like that they're remembering something, and they say, there are others, not just me. There are 2 others that serve them, trapped here in the tower. I don't want to just leave them behind. I never would normally leave comrades behind, but I'm too weak to help them. They took all of my strength. If you mean the pool, we can't go in there. Part of the spell on us means that we can't enter the pool. We can't destroy our own paintings. It's part of the enchantment on us. You should go somewhere safe. I'll go and find the others, and maybe we can hide for now. But you should leave, please. Don't endanger yourself for us.
I want to help. I'm trying to think if I have.
While you're thinking, Azara and Tarkle, like, are you guys getting ready to leave, or because you turn around and you see Agnes is having this conversation? Like, what's the plan here?
So Azara sent that message, and I wanted to respond to it.
Yep.
So she said we have to retreat. I think Tarkle's response would be like, how long will we be gone for? Will Clive become a Medusa as well? How long can we let him be in that room under an enchantment?
Azara will message back. From what I know about enchantments, it won't be long. I don't think they would risk killing Clive, knowing that they have to try and come find all of us. I would know that hags are kind of like they would want to make an example out of us, right? Like they would try and come and like
maybe. I mean, you don't know these hags.
I don't know these hags.
Yeah.
In my experience, more evil entities, they want to make a point out of their killings. They'll try and come for us. We will save Clive, but we can't be here unless we all want to die right here, right now. But I think I know a way to reverse this curses. And that'll be the end of the message.
Okay.
I'll say to the Dragonborn, like, yes, hide and we'll be back for you. Go now.
Yeah, they just kind of like turn and go up into the tower somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of continue going up the spiral staircase. Okay. Do you guys try and leave? You just try and run out the door, basically.
Yeah, if that's what Azara says to do, I trust her.
Okay. I think that the timing of this is you guys make a dash for the door. And it's as you kind of get out the door and shut it behind you, you hear the door that Clive disappeared into open. And you begin to hear like people talking, like they're coming out. But you guys just make a run for it. You guys just run into the pools, into the spa, and you make your way towards the baths. You arrive. You don't see Saith. You don't see signs of anybody. The only people you might see are the other guests. So the halfling kind of like looks at you as you're kind of running through, like makes a weird face. The gnome is busy tinkering something on his table. You don't see any of the staff. You don't see Saith, but you run your way into the baths, and full of steam, just as they were before. Clive, by the time they get there, the enchantment, the dominate person would have worn off. They haven't harmed you, but they have manacled you. And when you come to, all 3 of them are kind of stood around you, looking at you, kind of curiously. And for the first time, Clive, their visages change. And you see that these three beautiful elves, beautiful elven women, their forms change. The sun elf who was stood before you, you see that the furred mantle, like the furred cape that she was wearing, is actually a hunchback, and one of her arms is incredibly muscular, almost covered in thick hair, with bulging veins, ends in a large claw hand. Her other hand is much weaker and withered, and is kind of like kept under this ragged cloth that she wears as like a dress. She has these thick dreads, like dark kind of tan skin, thick dreadlocked hair covered with sort of like grime and blood and encrusted. She has multiple scars all over her body, but she looks monstrously strong. Her face distorts into a kind of twisted, monstrous version of the sun elf that you saw before. Morgana, the one with the long dark hair and the pale blue skin, she shifts and her limbs become almost a little too long. Her hands end in these 6-inch long razor sharp nails, but the most unsettling thing about her is her mouth. It's split far too wide up her cheeks, and she has blood encrusted lips. Rather than lipstick, it's literally like blood smeared over her lips, and her teeth are like jagged fangs. Her black hair, you can see that is matted, and there's all sorts of kind of blood and dried, probably like intestines kind of strewn through it. And then lastly, the blind wood elf, she shifts and changes. Her skin becomes like bark, like a kind of wrinkled bark, giving her an aged appearance. She has these gnarled hands. Moss and ivy kind of cover her, and you can see insects and little animals kind of nestled in her hair and her body. And the dog at her side, the lovable mastiff, becomes a flaming hellhound beast that just sort of like emerges from behind it. And they just sort of look down at you curiously. Well, what do we have here? A lovely little lion man from the Feywild. Seems you and your friends have discovered our little secret.
Can I? So I'm like bound up. Does this feel like something I might be able to break?
So you have a pair of like iron manacles with your hands behind your back. You can certainly try. It's going to be difficult. You would be at disadvantage because you're in an unfavorable, like you can't bring all of your strength to bear because your arms are behind you. And these are solid iron manacles. But I mean, Clive might still be able to do it. Like if you roll high enough, you might be able to break this. They've also probably taken like your weapons away from you. And the Azrissa, the sun elf, is holding them. She's literally holding your Morning Star and your longsword.
I want to see if I can at least break them, have hands free.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Go for it. So it's yeah. So give me just a straight strength, not athletics, just straight strength, but disadvantage.
Okay, so first one's a 16. Well, never mind.
16. Okay, so the last one was a bit like, I mean, it's more that because you think with, if you could get your arms in front of you, and you had a bit of time, you can probably break these manacles. You don't think that's beyond the possibility of what you can do. It's just that because your arms are behind your back, you can't quite bring your full strength. You can't use your chest muscles. You know, this is like, it's just too like awkward to try and bring your full strength to bear on this. Okay. You just need to get into a better position, and then you can probably do it.
So, what are we doing then?
Well, that's really the question, isn't it, my dear? We would rather not kill such a very interesting creature, an interesting man. I'd hate to spill your blood, although Fey blood could be quite useful. We have something of what we wanted. And they gesture, and you can see this kind of like withered, disfigured Elissa behind you, behind them. We have something that we want, but we always want more. We're a bit worried, though. You seem the sort to do something violent. And we like violence, but not towards us. Not towards us. No. But what to do with you?
Well,
What
I
to
could
do?
tell you if you let me leave and you return my belongings and our friend over there, there will be no violence against you.
Oh, I do love a bargain maker, but you're not really in a position to make those kind of agreements. We've got you as a prisoner, and we have this little wallflower, and they grab Illis's hair, and she kind of like lets out like a muffled scream as they like grab her violently. And you see the one that was the sun elf, the one with this kind of like hunchback giant arm, just backhands and sends Illissa flying into the wall, like bam, sends her flying. I don't think you're in a position. I think what we're going to do is we're going to keep you here. Maybe we'll lock you up somewhere. We've got a room upstairs just for you. And then we're going to go speak to your friends. Maybe we make a deal. They are so pretty. And then, yeah. And the sun elf is going to come towards you to try and like pick you up, basically. And like kind of bully you up this out of this room.
Would Clive have a gauge that he is like insanely outnumbered and overpowered right now? But
I leave that to you as the player, Nate. You are a good enough player that like I know that if you are like, you know what, Clive might be reckless, but he recognizes that he's outnumbered here. That's totally fine. If you want to play it that Clive's like, nah, I can fucking take you. Let's go. Like you can play it that way too.
you know what? Let's have RNG decide.
I love it. I love it.
He's gonna keep it tame for now.
Sure. Okay. They will look at you. All three of them look at you, and their eyes glow golden. I need you to make another wisdom saving throw, as they're basically going to say, "We suggest you come with us and offer no resistance."
Apparently, I can't roll today. Low. Oh, wait. Saving throw.
Yes.
Okay. So that's a -1.
Okay. So yeah, unfortunately, this suggestion takes hold, and for 8 hours, you're just like, "Yep, okay, I'm gonna come with you." And they basically lead you upstairs. They lead you up into the tower. They take you through like a very disgusting, filthy kitchen that's not been looked after. You walk past a groveling gold dragonborn who looks very withered. You walk past a ancient, like way too elderly looking dwarf, gray beard, like kind of shaking with age and infirmity, and a kobold, like a white scaled kobold with sparkling blue eyes. And they shove you into a room. They shove the 3 other figures in there, and then you hear them lock the door behind them.
A pretty poor job hiding.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they had nowhere to really hide in this place at all, and they're terrified. And yeah, they kind of just shove you into this kind of filthy room. The main thing you notice is on the wall, there are 5 paintings now, because along with those other figures, they throw Ilissa in with you, and then they hang this painting up on the wall. And these 5 paintings, one depicts a gold dragonborn warrior with like rippling muscles, like breaking some sort of like monster's skull with her bare hands, like roaring to the sky. One depicts like a youthful dwarven man playing musical instruments with everybody laughing and like enjoying his company around him. The third painting depicts a tiefling woman with like long kind of purplish blue hair, smiling and sparkling, covered in gemstones, tall and slender, and just, again, being beloved. The fourth painting is of an elven priestess, radiating with beauty in front of a statue of Suni. And then the last one is of Ilissa as this, incredible noble woman. And all of you are thrown into this kind of cell. Basically, the room is transformed into a kind of cell with a few ratted straw beds and things like that. And yeah, that's what happens with Clive. The rest of you, you guys make it to the pool, and yeah, Cyrena kind of emerges from the pool, looks around, it's like, "Oh, whatever is wrong? Are you all right?"
We've lost one of our party to the hags. Well, not lost. He's held captive, and our blade captain has been cursed. Azara, is that a curse?
It's some form of strange illusion magic. I saw this square, this rectangle in the room, maybe a canvas or a mirror or something that was containing all sorts of insane magical properties. I think that's how they do it. Whatever it is in there, whatever that is, if we destroy it, I'm sure we can reverse whatever is happening.
And they have our warrior Clive. We're trying to do reconnaissance and just miserably failed.
Well, not miserable. We know where the source of the magic is coming from. We know where they're doing their spells. We know that it's illusion magic, and we know that all magic can be destroyed and dispelled. We just happen to lose Clive temporarily in the process.
Well, what do we do now?
Who is this person that we just divulged all this to?
This is the water spirit. Yeah, this is the water
the
spirit.
sprite. Okay, cool.
Yeah, her name is
Gotcha.
Serena.
I missed
she
that part.
lives in the bath. Sorry, that
Yes.
maybe wasn't me being clear.
I think what we do now is we collect Sayeth, or whatever his true name is, and whether it be stealthily, although I think that stealth has left us, or by force, we return to the tower, destroy whatever it is that is turning our friends and others into hideous beasts, or that frail dragonborn you were talking to. I'm sure that is also the work of the sisters. Did she say anything else to you?
I relay what she said, that, they put this curse on her and the other two are there, and that they can't come to the baths to hide, and that they think the hags are too powerful for us to beat.
Right. Well, hopefully with the help of Sayeth, and if we can find where they're hiding Clive, we can at least destroy the source of their power. If we can't destroy the hags, we destroy the curses and flee. Hopefully, best case scenario, we destroy the hags. Worst case scenario, we get our friend back.
By destroy the source, you mean the paintings?
Yes.
Let's take a moment to discuss strategy. What do we know about hags? And between us, what can we do to separate them and negate their powers?
Mr. DM, what do I know about hags?
And me too.
You guys can make, I think that the best options here would be Azara makes an Arcana check, Agnes makes a Nature check, and Tarkle, if you'd like, you can make a History check, maybe to know of any like stories or anything like that.
I got a 26.
Good.
17.
21.
26, 21. So the difficulty here is thinking about all the stories you've heard. Hags are fey beings. They're often the kind of the villains of many children's stories, wicked witches in the woods that gobble up children, all these kind of things. But a lot of these stories actually contain a lot of facts. They can disguise their appearance, as you probably have gathered by now. They are most powerful when they're in a coven, which allows them to cast spells together, and often quite powerful spells at that as well. They work with lots of servants. They employ creatures or things to work as their minions and servants. The interesting thing with these is the way that everybody speaks about them being powerful. You don't think that these are just going to be any sort of normal hags. They are likely unique individuals that have probably were quite powerful hags of their own, and now they've come together as a group to form this coven. In terms of things like weaknesses, it sounds like that they don't like the enchanted water here. You don't know how useful that will be. You're not aware of sort of anything else. They are tricksy. They are often very clever, but that doesn't mean that they can't be outsmarted. They often underestimate others. They think themselves superior a lot of the time. I think that
Do
that's
we
kind
know
of-
anything about like what kind of damage they like to do or anything like that?
I would say, unfortunately, yeah, with general spellcasters and things like that, hags come in lots of different types. Green hags often attack with physical attacks and they just have powerful claws. Sometimes they use poisons. Night hags often use necrotic and psychic damage to kind of mess with your mind. Sea hags, like there's just too many types, and you're not even sure which types these are, unfortunately.
When I did detect magic on the canvases, would I have known if they had like resistance to fire? Like, could they be burned like normal canvases, or are they magically enchanted?
They are magically enchanted, which you imagine will protect them against most forms of damage, but they can probably still be destroyed.
Just I have to figure out how.
Yeah, you have to figure out how. Sometimes there's a trick to it. Sometimes like it takes a specific substance or a specific type of damage, or maybe, sometimes it's more esoteric. Sometimes it's like things that, like, especially these kind of unusual artifacts, things like the Feywild and hags, there's normally something fairy tale to it. Like you remember lots of stories about like a wand created by a powerful hag witch that could only be destroyed in the light of the moon, or it could only be destroyed by somebody pure of heart. There's lots of these little rules and tricks to hag magic that can make it difficult to pin down. Fey magic in general can be quite fickle in that way.
I think I would relay all of that.
Mhm.
And while we're planning the strategy, Azar would say, I feel like if this is some sort of trick, if it can't just be destroyed with fire or lightning, or even by tearing it apart, possibly because these hags are preying on our insecurities and portraying these ideal versions of what we wish we could be, maybe it's as simple as everyone accepting who they are, as disgusting as that sounds. Maybe it's just as simple as stating you're happy to be who you are, and then they have no power. And if not, we could burn it.
Do you think it would have to be true? Or do you think we would just have to say it? Just wondering, curious.
I think it would have to be true in a sense. I mean, and then I think hearing Agnes say that, knowing that we had this conversation earlier, Azar will be like speaking to Agnes at this point. We'll say, no one is ever happy 100% with who they are. But if you can accept that loving yourself is better than becoming a stone monster, then I feel like that's a step. Maybe you can appreciate what you have rather than wish you were something else, because the grass is always greener. Maybe that's the lesson here. A massage is always good, but we don't have to change ourselves to be happy.
Right. I mean, I obviously feel great about who I am, but just, curious about how the magic works. And, by you, I'm sure you mean like the general you and all of that. So, yeah.
Azar gives Agnes like a, come on now, look.
Agnes is like, to the water spirit, Serena, right? Serena?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you think that, will your water retain the same magical properties if we bring some from here to there? Could we?
No, I'm sorry. Once you take the water from this place, it doesn't retain any of its properties. It's the nature of the magical spring is, if you take it away, it doesn't work. Otherwise, people would have come and taken it long ago. As you say this, you hear 3 voices from outside the bathhouse call out, "My dears." And it reverts back to the voice of Morgana and the elves that you met. "I do believe that there's been a misunderstanding. Your companions are waiting in our residence. We want to make sure that there's no ill will between us. I'm sure that we can come to an arrangement. Won't you come out and speak with us?"
It's quite lovely where we are, and we're unrobed. Why don't we just have this conversation from behind the door? We can hear you just fine.
Oh, how? Of course. Why don't we have some of our staff come in and help you? and you see the double doors to the baths begin like burst open, and stood there are 5 of the. They look like, you know, they're wearing the little silk outfits, but in their hands they've got like basic clubs that look like they've been made out of like pieces of furniture, or they look like things that they've got, and they're there just holding them, completely dead faces, and they're just staring in, and they begin filtering in one by one. Meanwhile, Clive.
Why are we in a Yakuza video game?
It's got that vibe, right?
It
like the
does.
steam room.
Yeah.
You're all in your armor and weapons, but you're like in this kind of bathhouse, and then in burst these like 5 attendants,
Right?
with their crude homemade clubs and things. Clive, it takes some time, but eventually the spell, you're technically under the spell is like you basically can't give any trouble to the hags, but once you're kind of alone, you're free to act as you want to, right? Like you can kind of just be Clive as long as you're not attacking the hags. So you kind of are in this room. You see these other figures around you. Elissa is retreated to the corner and is basically like using her clothing to cover herself, like so you can't see her. What is there anything Clive wants to do before I feel bad that poor Clive has been captured while there's a fight going on, because it's literally Clive's thing to fight everything. I'm sorry, Nate.
I'm gonna try and break out.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. With the time, by the way, you can kind of get your hands under your feet and bring them in front of you. So this time, no disadvantage to try and break the manacles.
Cool. And you said just strength?
Straight up strength.
Cool. That is 15.
15. I'd say it takes you some time. Like you strain your muscles and you can feel the chains beginning to weaken. And it maybe takes you like a good sort of 10 minutes, but you manage to like, and then eventually the chain links burst apart and your hands are free. You still don't have your weapons on you, but you are, hands free. You can move about and things like that as normal. You see the Dragonborn ladies like looking at you, and there's like this, like you can see that she wishes that she had that strength. Like you can see she's so painfully hurt. The little kobold comes running up to you and it's just like, "Oh wow, I didn't. You're so strong. Maybe you can help us get out of here."
Hey, that's the plan. I'm gonna see if is the door locked?
Yeah, I think that they locked it, but and they normally trap it. So if you hit it, it kind of blows up. But maybe I can help with that. Maybe I can find a way to like I don't know, disarm it or something.
How long you think that'll take?
I don't know. I've never done it before.
Right. Well, maybe everyone should take a few steps back then.
Oh, okay. And then so you go, and the Dragonborn like weakly kind of crawls away. The old dwarf is just like, "What's going on? Who is he? What is happening? Play glitter." And then like the kobold's like, "Come on, Falthrax, come on," and like tugs them away as they basically move to the other end of the room away from the door.
How big is this room?
It's like half of the tower, so it's kind of like curved. So it's almost like a weird art gallery, because you have these like beautiful paintings, and then it's this curved ratty prison cell. But they all move to the far end, away from the door.
Okay, so assuming that the explosion wouldn't be enough to like wipe out half the tower, I'm going to hope that that's far enough. And I'm just gonna try and ram it down.
Sure, go for it. Give me another. This would be athletics this time, because you're breaking down the door.
You know what? I'm gonna roll on dndbeyond.com because my physical dice have said no all day.
Okay.
And we have, okay, that's not bad actually. 19.
19. You bust the door down with one big solid lion kick. It splinters. The second the wood breaks, lightning erupts in an explosion around the door. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw. and you don't see this coming, so this is no danger sense.
Are you sure? Because I assumed.
Actually, no, because he
was-
warned you. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, actually, I forgot. The kobold warned
Thank
you.
you,
So
DM.
yeah.
Okay, so dex save.
With advantage.
That the first one was a nat 20. So
Oh well, there you go. Bam.
Your
we don't
acoustic
need to-
dice came back.
they did.
They just need a
they got
break, you know?
jealous.
15, 14. Okay, it's not even that bad. So it'd normally be 20 points of damage, but you're going to take half. So you take 10 lightning damage as this thing kind of like, and this like lightning erupts out from the door. The
assume
others kind of all
Clive's, like,
yelp,
Clive's like skeleton showed for a second, and, his
and like
hand,
your fur goes stands on ends. Yeah.
and you just kind of Clive of the Wild, man.
Smokes. The door leads into that kind of ragged looking kitchen that I mentioned earlier, and you can see the spiral staircase leading down as well as up. In the corner of this kitchen, you see another one of these like elven statues, these winged elven statues. And as soon as the explosion erupts and you move out, the statue kind of comes to life and looks in your direction, and it just wags a finger like At this point, this is going to be a pain in my ass to run, but we're going to both roll initiative
Oh
for
my
a
God.
split combat. This is my fault, so I'll accept it. I just need to get a secondary encounter up.
You put
for-
Clive in another room, Mark.
Listen, man.
You split
it's-
the party.
It
You
was the
split the party.
situation, okay? That was the obvious thing the villains were gonna do. They were like, "How the fuck did this guy get here?" They didn't see anybody else. Dominate person, find out what's going on.
And now you have 2 encounters.
And now
to
I have
run.
to pay the price. So, create new encounter.
Take away our kitty cat, we make it a problem.
Yeah, absolutely. One ancient construct.
Coming right up.
Running counter. Right. So we currently, the 2 encounters that we currently have running is we have the Bathhouse Yakuza battle. So if I can have Azara, Tarkle, and Agnes roll initiative. Clive, actually, if you roll your initiative, and what I'll do is I'll use you to know when I jump to the other battle.
10.
So 10 total for Agnes. Tarkle.
Nope, go ahead.
7.
7. Azara.
17.
17. And then Clive.
18.
18. Okay. So I'll do, and then in this one, I'll do this one. What was it? Did you get as again, Zara? 17.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. Okay, perfect. So I'll start that one, and I'll start this combat. So yeah, Clive, you are going to be. So we'll basically start with your fight. We'll completely do your fight, and then we'll jump to the others, completely do their fight, and then jump back to Clive. Okay, so that's because
Right.
that's like the way the initiative's rolled out. So Clive, you burst out of this door, and you see, this stone elf comes to life, wags its finger at you, and it's coming at you to attack. What would you like to do?
Do I see my weapons anywhere?
No.
Good. Well, that
This is Clive's going to have to. So there are, I would say that with a quick glance around the room, the only kind of weapon you can see is an old iron skillet, like a frying pan,
Yes.
is on the side,
Yes.
which you can
That
treat as a
works.
club. You could take it if you want to use it as a club. You can just add a club to your inventory.
He's Rapunzel.
Yep. Just gonna grab that and rage, if I may.
Sure. Yeah.
So just picks up. Hey, and charging. Let me add the club. Oh, cool. My character sheet just went.
Nice.
Perfect.
Well. All right. Never mind. Cool. So I'm gonna rage as I
Okay.
said. So we're gonna roll
Sure.
on the table. That is a 5. So whenever a creature hits you with an attack roll before your rage ends, the creature takes 1d6 force damage.
Okay. You remember that, and you tell me when
Mhm.
that happens. All right. Cool.
And then I'm gonna start swinging. with-
Charge one. The room's tiny. Like this is like a maybe 15-foot kitchen, so you can easily just get to this thing and start bashing away at it.
Mhm. Good. Let's see. 1d. Wow. the club is literally my unarmed my claws.
Yeah.
No difference. Okay, cool. Off I go with the pan.
It's just for flavor.
Just for flavor.
It's a
Nicely
cool flavor
seasoned.
that Clive would look around and be like, weapon.
Hey.
And what better for flavor than a well-seasoned cast iron
Skillet.
skillet?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Very true.
Boing. That's a
So what'd you get to
16?
attack? 16?
Mhm.
So that this thing is made of stone. Like this statue is made of stone, and it brings up a hand, and the pan just kind of smashes against it to almost no effect on the first attack. Miss.
All right. Well, I'm gonna attack again. I'm gonna make it reckless. Oop,
Give
oop.
yourself advantage.
Okay, so that's a no. The second one is a dirty 20.
That will hit, yes. So it manages to kind of like smash through this creature's form. It is going to have resistance against the attack because this is a non-magical weapon striking it.
Well, good. All right,
Clive's in a tough one-on-one here,
Six.
so
8, 9. So total, including the bonus, is 9. So half of that.
4 points of damage. Actually, round down. So the frying pan smashes into this thing, and you chip some of the stone. But yeah, this is not an effective weapon to use against this thing as you smash against it. So after we'll just do the thing striking you back immediately. It just takes one big swing with one of these stone fists in your direction. In fact, I will also use D&D Beyond.
It's never been easier
19
to hit. Yep.
to hit. Yep, cool. This is bludgeoning damage, so raging, you're going to take half of this. It's a heavy hitter. So half of 19 would be 9 points of damage. So this thing clocks you back with a strong kind of right hook across the face as it smacks you. You see that when you kind of merged out, looking back, you see the kobold has like poked its head around the corner and is like looking at what's going on. And he's like, come on, like gesturing to the others to try and make a break for it. But there's some sort of hesitation going on behind him. Meanwhile, camera.
Well, first, 1d6 force damage.
That's great because it does not resist that. So roll it.
That is force damage. And then also, as my reaction, unstable backlash, I'm going to roll again.
Okay.
On the magic.
So give me the d6 of damage.
The d6 was 5.
5. Perfect.
And all right. So whenever a creature hits you with an attack roll before your rage ends, that creature takes 1d6 force damage.
Perfect. Well, that just means the effect continues.
Yep.
Perfect. Okay.
All right.
So you're kind of this colorful aura is like reverberating some of the force back when it strikes you as you strike. Camera cuts to bathhouse where Azara Mithras, you see these 5 these 5 staff members come in with a very cold, very inhuman expression on their face, stood in the doorway to this little bathhouse. I will tell you, they are grouped up in like a 10-foot corridor. So there's at least 3 of them in a line.
Thank you for telling me that. That's so kind of you.
That's set up in the scenario.
That's so very kind of you. Cool. Do these look like dead, like undead? Would Azara know?
They do not look undead. You don't think they're living, but they're not like zombies or anything.
Okay,
like
but
that.
they're not. I wouldn't be like murdering people.
Maybe.
It's a risk I'm willing to take.
I
I'm
think it
going
is
to
indeed.
cast Lightning Bolt at the 3rd level, which is a 100-foot line.
It is.
It's a Dex 14 save.
Sure. That is going to be 3 failures. Nope. Actually, no, 3 failures. All 3 of them, they do not look particularly quick. They look slow, not very agile. The lightning bolt, don't worry about rolling the damage because the lightning bolt passes through all three of them, and you can see it lights up their body. And as it passes through them, like you almost expect to see like, burn marks and things like that. You begin to see that inside these things, as like chunks of their chests are blown apart, they have metal sort of rods and structures built into them, almost like stitch marks and things like that. And the lightning bolt passes through all of them, and they just kind of like. And they just smile and just kind of cock their heads.
So nothing happened.
They absorb all damage from lightning.
So what you're describing is they're like
these are constructs. You can see that these are some sort of golem that has been constructed to look like people. These are T1000s.
Gotcha.
You just kind of like, you see like now there's this gaping hole in three of them, and you can see like metal rods and what appear to be like wooden sections all built into their chest cavity, and the lightning's just been completely absorbed by them as it's passed through them.
Gotcha. As a bonus action, may I sass them?
You may sass them.
Cool. Well, then, seeing that lightning obviously doesn't affect metal constructs, Azara was like, that's fine. I have other magic. And she's very angry. That's my turn.
Thanks. Agnes.
So they didn't take any damage.
They didn't take lightning.
They didn't take lightning damage specifically. Ooh, guess what? Agnes is gonna use. It's heat metal time. Yes. I'm going to cast heat metal at these are the little weenie guys. Let's not waste it. We're gonna cast it at second level.
So yeah, normal level. On the first one through the door.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll call that A.
Yeah. On little A, we're gonna cast heat metal.
Sure.
And it is going to it's going to heat the metal inside to glow red hot.
So as long as you concentrate on this spell, it can't remove the metal from its body. It doesn't get a saving throw. You're just going to be dealing that damage as long as you concentrate on this spell.
So 2d8 fire damage.
Roll it for me. Don't forget you get extra damage to fire damage spells as well now.
Oh yeah, it's a third d8. Correct. Total will be 11 fire damage.
11 points of fire damage. You see the first one, all these metal rods inside begin to glow, and you begin to smell like burning meat and flesh as it begins to smolder from the inside. And it does seem to react to that, like not quite in pain, but like, I don't understand what's going on. And then it just kind of looks in a desperate kind of, I must attack kind of mentality.
Question.
Yes.
Because I summoned Candor when we were in this fountain for the first time, and Candor only stays summoned for an hour. Is Candor still summoned?
I would probably say you came in here to fight the water spirits. I don't think it's been an hour. You literally had a conversation with Saith, and then you went to the tower. I don't think it's been an hour.
Okay,
so I'd say Candor's still there.
So I do get that extra d8 because otherwise, if Candor wasn't there, I wouldn't. But that's
sure. Does Candor want to make a flame seed?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Go for it.
Yes. So I'm just double checking. I believe it's +8 to Candor's attacks. Hello? Yes. Hello? Candor rolls a 10.
A 10 will hit. These things, as I mentioned, they are not fast. They just seem to absorb. They just seem to try and tank the damage as they don't move out of the way. They just get hit by the flame seed.
Oh, and does Candor get the extra d8?
No, it's only on your spells.
Well, it was worth a try. 6 fire damage from Candor.
6 points of extra damage. It's nothing to sniff at. So yeah, the flame seed kind of, you can see it begins to like burn away some of the hair of this, probably like one of the manicure ladies. So kind of like got like a little hair scarf, and it just burns it all away. And she just kind of looks at Agnes. And then they all rush forwards. So unless there's anything else, Agnes, you want to do, 5 of these things are going to swarm in, and they're going to basically charge the 3 of you.
One of them glowing red hot like a poker.
One of them glowing red hot like a poker. That one's coming for Agnes. I'd say 2 of them are going to, probably 2 on Agnes, 2 on Tarkle, 1 on Azara, is how they're going to divide their attacks. They're going to make 1 attack each. I'm just going to roll these as we go. So Agnes, This is going to be a 13 to hit on the first one,
That does not hit.
and then a 14 to hit on the second one.
That does hit.
That does hit. So you're going to take 14 points of damage as this one connects you with this almost brute inhuman strength as it just slams its fist into you with surprising force.
Ow.
Tarkle, 2 attacks against you. And they've waded into the water, by the way. Like they've just waded into the water and they're just throwing fists as they go. 19 to hit Tarkle. That's going to be quite a lot more damage. That's going to be
Uncanny dodge.
16 points of damage. Would you like to use Uncanny Dodge? You only get one use of it.
Yes, please.
All right, so you take 8 points of damage, and then the second one attacks you. That's going to be a 24 to hit.
That hits.
Let's see if I roll less damage. So that's less damage. That's going to be 12 points of damage.
Okay.
So these two, almost like you feel like your jaw kind of ache and bruise as it smacks you across the face, and then the second one gets you in the chest, almost knocking the wind out of you. Then the fifth one, Azara, on you. That's a natural 1.
Doesn't hit.
So that doesn't hit. So I feel that the failed lightning bolt has just been returned with a failed attack against you. As these things just wade into the water and begin just trying to wail on all of you, trying their best to try and cause stuff. Cyrena, the water spirit, is going to try and aid you. She kind of like uses the water to propulse herself up in the air. She says, my magic won't affect them because they don't have any minds to control, but I can do this. And then she will kind of wave her hands and the water seems to shimmer, and all of them, because they're all currently waded into the water with you guys, are going to take 1d10 of damage as she changes it to become harmful to them. So they're all going to take 9 points of damage each one individually.
Wow.
Hell yes, Irina.
Yeah, that's sorry, I'm just tracking all the damage here. But these things don't seem to care at all. And then Tarkle, and then this is where we're going to probably wrap things up in a second. So
Convenient, because Tarkle wants to call out and say, Greensong, I don't understand. I thought we were supposed to take out your sisters.
Oh, what?
Oh!
make a deception check for me.
All right, I had a lot of bad rolls, and I had one really good roll, and then a 7 on the thing, and that's a 19 plus, what is it? Deception?
Deception.
Plus 4, so 23.
Oh my god.
That's our
I just-
boy.
One.
I
Yes,
rolled
yes,
insight checks. I rolled a 1.
That's
and
our
a
boy.
2.
That's our boy.
I didn't even need
So-
a 19.
You hear from outside, you just hear a like, sister, is there something you want to tell us? I did find it strange that they got access to our tower. You foolish children. They're playing you. They're clearly trying to deceive you and turn us against each other. They're desperate. You just hear the bigger one, Azrissa, just like, it does seem like something you would do. We've long suspected you might bring in outsiders to try and take us. You want the secrets of the ritual to yourself, you old miserable wench. And you just hear like, yeah, this kind of deathly silence. However, Tarkle, I would say that's you still have 5 creatures in front of you. Would you like to make an attack?
Yeah, I think like I would say that as I'm like using my Kiss of Silver on one that's like
Jamming it
closest.
into like one of these golems,
Yeah.
faces.
And I'll roll my acoustic dice plus 8. That is a 15 plus 8, so 23.
That's going to hit.
And I'll roll the damage on D&D Beyond. So are any of my allies within 5 feet?
Yeah, I'd say so, because
Okay,
you
so
guys
they're
were all
all-
clumped together. So you've got Azar and Agnes basically next to you.
Yeah.
But these things have just swarmed you now. They've just completely surrounded you. So
So then probably 24 damage on one that's close.
24 damage. Cool. I'll do that to Golem C. That like you embed Kiss of Silver and like wrench it, and it's it's the bartender that originally kind of served you drinks. You kind of just gouge part of its face, and it like splits the skull and the eye, but you can just see this almost like carved wooden metal skull beneath, and you kind of like tear it open, and it just kind of hangs loosely as it just tries to swing its fist at you once more. So I think that because this is in the middle of combat, we would cut back to Clive, who is in a desperate battle with this frying pan against this stone elf, this stone statue. Meanwhile, back in the bathhouse, we see you guys fighting, but you also begin to hear the sounds of bickering. Maybe not outright fighting, but you begin to hear them bicker and argue and accuse each other, coming from behind you. Certainly some discord has been sown. Maybe not enough to turn them against each other, but certainly enough to buy you some time, maybe. But that is where we're going to leave this very unexpected episode of Knights of Evening Star, for certain.
Oh,
Cool.
I love a well-placed deception check. Oh,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
well done, Shady.
Well done,
That
Shady.
felt good. That felt good.
I feel like a well-placed deception check or a really well-used modify memory is like peak clever
Mhm.
D&D, where you're just
Yeah.
like, oh, mwah.
So good.
So good. Excellent job. I think that was a great session. You guys played it really well. Super true to characters and like doing what your characters would do. Excellent job all round.
It's
I
such
hope that was
a
good one.
fun and like nearly hopeless conflict. Like that's the fun
Yeah.
ones in D&D where you're like, I don't know how we're going to get out of this, but we must find a way. And then
Yeah.
It's the
everything is
movie magic,
chaos.
right?
Yeah.
It's the movie illusion. Like you gotta, the good guys are gonna win. I want you guys to win, but we've got to try and make it look like you can't. But
Yeah.
Right. I
somehow.
feel really hopeless. You're doing a good job about it.
Yeah. Because
You're
how do you
never
beat three
hopeless.
hags? I was sure we were stumped until the deception check worked.
Seriously.
Well, and just remember, in D&D, you don't always have to kill the monsters to defeat them, right?
Yep.
Like maybe the victory here isn't killing the hags. Maybe the victory here is saving Elissa and all the others, and then just getting the fuck out of
getting
town.
Yeah.
That's
you
what
know,
Zara
maybe-
said. Worst case
or-
scenario, you save your friends.
Yeah,
Mhm.
or like, and maybe it's like you save your friends and you plant the seed that they're turning on each other, and you hope that they basically tear each other apart, and then you can
Mhm.
just flee. But don't feel like you have to kill the hags, but I would not put you against them if it was impossible. I wouldn't be like challenge raiding 30 monsters. You're never gonna win. Like there's always a chance, but yeah, doesn't mean it won't be tough. So
And we don't want to give up our spa.
no,
It was so
absolutely
nice.
not. And hopefully you don't want to give up your friends and all these innocent people that have suffered as well, because you guys are good guys. So
Oh right, they're more important than the massages. Yeah.
I guess so. And then I can't wait for Clive's. I almost feel like the current situation with Clive is like straight out of a Fast and the Furious movie, where like he's like broken out of this thing, and now he's got to fight through a kitchen, and he's probably gonna like smash through the wall with the statue, and then ride it to land in the ground, and then he'll come bursting into the baths. And be like, that's the kind of vibe I'm getting. He's the Dwayne Johnson of Knights of Evening Star. I feel,
So when does he rip off a minigun from a helicopter and then smash an ambulance into a drone and then save
Yeah.
the day with said minigun?
or like pick up a torpedo
Right.
from a submarine that's been fired and just throw it.
Technically, he punched it and directed
Sorry.
it towards the tank on the ice mark.
That's
Excuse
correct.
you.
You're right. Sorry, he did punch it, not throw it.
He
He
punched
wasn't
a
accurate.
missile.
It's been a while
Yeah,
since I've
accurate.
seen it. I'm sorry. Yeah, I get very strong Hobbs and Shaw from Clive and Tarkle. I feel
Oh my
that's
God, yes.
the fighting styles kind of thing of like we've got big, strong, and then agile, kind of like ninja moves guy in the background. So I love it. Fantastic job, everybody. Should we do some shout outs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who wants to shout
Shady.
first? Me?
Yeah.
All right. My throat is too. I was gonna do the bit, but I can't do the bit. My throat is too torn up. Hi guys, I'm Shady. Shady Penguin. You can find me on Twitter.com/ShadyPenguin and Twitch.tv/ShadyPenguin. Most often, those are the two places you'll see my face a lot. You won't really see my face on Twitter. Doesn't matter. I tag Anna.
I just want to say thanks for well wishes, and please continue to send any good vibes you have toward my vocal cords, because I still have a vocal cord nodule, which is keeping me from doing more streaming and stuff. This is one of my only things that I am continuing to do while I try to heal my voice. So thanks for that, and thanks for your patience, and please don't leave me. I'll be back someday. And also, check out cantripbrand.com, where there are some very few left limited and collector edition items that are almost sold out, as well as new items and restocks of your favorite items. So if you want to be cool like these folks, All them were Cantrip brand, so maybe you should too.
100%.
I tag Nathan, who's holding. Wow, what a cool jacket!
Cantripbrand.com. I don't know if there's still jackets, but cantripbrand.com. NateWantsToBattle.com. NateWantsToBattle.com/tour. That's it. Mika.
You can find me everywhere at Mika Burton. You can find my horseback riding adventures on Instagram at Mika Strides. I have a dog. She's at Reenie Wildshape. That's all I have going on in my life. Mark.
Cool. Thanks very much. Yeah, you can check me out on my other D&D show that I do, High Rollers D&D. That's like my big one where I got all started, and I kind of started and has been going on for a very long time. We stream mainly on Sundays, 5 p.m. UK time, which is 9 a.m. Pacific. What a wonderful way to start your Sunday with a bunch of British people playing Dungeons and Dragons. You can come and check that out. And then otherwise, it's Sherlock Humes pretty much everywhere on the internet. You can find me there. Hopefully, got some cool stuff coming up soon. But that's it. But yeah, that's it from us. I think that's a lovely little episode of Night Shooting Star. Thank you once again for joining us, and we will see you.
Thanks, White Text Friend.
Thanks, White
Text Friend. Always White Text Friend. Thank you very much.
At us all the way from Hawaii.
Are they?
Or are they?
That's it from us. Take care. Bye-bye.